I was wrong in a way that I will spend the rest of my life thinking about. I consider myself a pretty good judge of character. 12 years in supply chain management, dealing with vendors, contractors, clients from every background. You develop a sense for people. You learn to read a room. You get good at knowing within the first 30 seconds whether someone is straight with you or not. I trusted that instinct the night I let Claire through my front door. It was a Tuesday night in late October, Dayton, Ohio. My wife, Diane, had left that afternoon for Columbus, her sister Paula's birthday weekend, 2 nights away. She'd kissed me goodbye at the door and got in the car. Before she even reached the end of the block, she'd posted to Instagram a photo from the driveway, big smile, our house in the background. Caption, "Sister weekend in Columbus. Marcus, you're on your own." Tagged her location, tagged my profile. I liked the post, grabbed a beer, and turned on the football game. I want you to hold on to that detail, because I'll come back to it. By midnight, I was deep in couch territory, rain hammering the windows. I fell asleep sometime around 12:30. That slow, comfortable drift when you're warm and the rain is loud and the game stops being interesting enough to fight sleep over. I woke up to knocking. 3 firm knocks on the front door. Patient, deliberate. I grabbed my phone. 2:07 a.m. I got up, turned on the porch light, looked through the peephole. A woman, standing in the rain. Mid-30s, light hair plastered flat against her face, light jacket completely soaked through, mascara tracking down both cheeks, arms wrapped around herself, shaking hard. I opened the door. "Oh, thank God," she breathed. "I am so sorry. I know what time it is. I am so sorry. My car broke down 2 blocks down on Hensley. My phone is completely dead. I just need to call my husband. I just need—" Hey, I said. "It's okay. Come in." And right there, in that exact moment, there was something. I want to be honest about that. A small, quiet, almost imperceptible something in the back of my mind. Not a red flag, more like a frequency, slightly off. The way a note that's almost in tune sounds fine until you really listen. But she was soaking wet, shaking. 2 a.m. I am not the kind of man who leaves a woman standing in the rain. "I'm Claire," she said. "Marcus," I said, and stepped back to let her in. I got her a towel, put the kettle on. She sat at the kitchen table and gave me a number for her husband. Straight to voicemail. "He's a heavy sleeper," she said, wrapping both hands around her mug. "He's gonna be so annoyed. I told him the car was making a noise last week." "Classic," I said. We both laughed. And right there at 2 a.m., stranger at my table, everything felt completely normal. We talked, small talk, the rain, the neighborhood. She was easy to talk to, warm, the kind of person who makes you comfortable without you knowing exactly why. But then the questions started shifting. "Just you tonight?" she asked, glancing around. "Yeah, wife's in Columbus for the weekend." "Oh, nice. Big house for one person," she smiled. "How many bedrooms?" Interesting question. 3, I said. Shorter now. "What's through that door? Garage?" That one landed differently. You don't ask about a garage making small talk. You ask about a garage when you want to know about exits. "Laundry room," I said. I picked up my phone, pretended to check the time. Then my phone buzzed. Text from Darnell, my neighbor across the street. We'd known each other since we were 11 years old. "Hey man, everything good over there? There's 2 people walking around your backyard right now." I read it once, read it again. I looked up slowly. Claire was still holding her mug, still smiling, but something in her eyes had changed. A watchfulness that had been there all along, hiding underneath the warmth. She was watching me the way someone watches a clock, counting down to something. I understood in one cold, clear moment what I was actually looking at. She wasn't lost. She was never lost. She was exactly where she was supposed to be. I kept my face neutral, somehow.
"Let me try your husband again," I said. My voice came out steady. I was genuinely surprised by that. I walked to the other side of the kitchen island, putting it between us, and dialed with one hand while texting Darnell with the other. How many? 2, one at the laundry window, one near the back fence. Need me to call 911? Yes, now. I could hear it now that I was actually listening. Movement from the back of the house. Slow, careful footsteps staying just underneath the sound of the rain. Already inside, already moving through my house. Claire stood up, silently, both hands still around the mug, the warmth in her face completely gone now. You should have just stayed relaxed, she said quietly, almost gently. We weren't here for you, Marcus. There are 2 people in my home, I said. My neighbor is calling 911 right now. You've got maybe 4 minutes. Something shifted behind her eyes, a recalculation. You're bluffing, she said. I held up my phone, Darnell's message still on screen, calling now. The movement from the back of the house stopped. For about 30 seconds, nobody moved and nobody spoke, and the rain kept hammering, and I stood in my own kitchen at 2 a.m. thinking about how completely ordinary this night had been 4 hours ago. Then the first siren hit Clearwater Street. Claire walked out the front door onto the porch. She didn't run. That detail has always stayed with me. And just stood there in the rain with her arms slightly out as the first patrol car pulled to the curb. Like she'd done this before and knew exactly what came next. The man from the back, Roy, made it 2 streets over before they picked him up. He'd come in through the laundry window using a tool that left no marks on the frame. He had a flashlight, a crowbar, a canvas bag, latex gloves, and a list. 12 addresses, Dayton, Ohio. Neat handwriting, each one with a small notation. Safe, upstairs closet. Jewelry, master bath. Firearms, possible. My address was number 4. The notation next to mine said, Refinance 2023, check walls. They'd pulled our public refinancing records, cross-referenced them with older homes likely to have in-wall safes, built the list over weeks. Claire and Roy had already hit 3 houses before mine. Same method every time. Claire at the front, Roy through the back. One person to keep you busy, one person to take what they came for. And every single target had been identified the same way: social media. Detective Ray Holloway sat across from me at my kitchen table at 4 a.m. and laid it flat. Your wife posted at 3:47 p.m. The post indicated she was out of town, tagged her location, tagged your profile. Your profile is public. Between tagged check-ins and location data, they had your home address within minutes. I sat there staring at him. Diane's post went up at 3:47 p.m. Claire knocked on my door at 2:07 a.m. 10 hours, that's all it took. From a casual Instagram caption to a woman on my porch in the rain with someone already moving toward my back window. Diane came home the next morning, walked straight to me on the couch where I'd been sitting since 5 a.m. and just held on without saying anything for a while. Eventually, she pulled back. Are you okay? Huh, I thought about it. Yeah, I think so. I deleted the post, she said quietly. I saw. I didn't even think. Nobody does. That's the whole thing. Here's what I want to leave you with. Your social media is a floor plan of your life. Every post that says out of town this weekend or whole family at grandma's is a post that tells someone your house is empty. I'm not saying stop posting everything. I'm saying think about what you're handing to strangers before you hand it to them. And trust the quiet feeling. You know the one, that small, unnamed frequency when something is almost right but not quite. I felt it the moment Claire appeared at my door. I filed it under overthinking and opened the door anyway. The instinct was right.
I sleep with the lights on now. I know how that sounds. I'm a 28-year-old man. But that was before the weekend Lucy took the kids to Cincinnati, before I found the basement, before I understood what kind of man had been living 30 feet from my family for 3 years. Let me start from the beginning. It was the second Friday of October. Lucy had been planning this trip for weeks. Her mom's birthday, the whole family in Cincinnati. I had to stay back for a work deadline. I stood on the porch of our house on Briarwood Lane and watched Lucy buckle Lily, our 8-year-old, into the back seat, while Chase, 5 years old, all energy and zero volume control, climbed in beside her. Lucy looked back at me from the driver's window. "Don't just sit on the couch all weekend." "I'm absolutely going to sit on the couch all weekend," I said. She laughed. I watched the taillights disappear around the corner and stood there a moment in the cold, quiet street. I went inside and locked the door. The first few hours were perfect. Large pepperoni from Domino's, cold beer, a movie I'd been meaning to watch for 6 months, stretched across the entire couch like a man who is completely won at life. By 11:15 p.m., I was deeply relaxed, lights low, second beer in hand. At 11:47 p.m., I hit pause. I don't know what made me do it, no dramatic noise. In the silence, from directly above my head, I heard it. A creak, slow and deliberate, the specific sound of weight being placed carefully on old floorboards. One step, then nothing, from the upstairs hallway. Old houses make noise, you know that. I turned the volume back up. 20 minutes later, I went to the kitchen for another beer and stopped cold in the doorway. The back door was open, not wide open, cold October air bleeding silently through the gap. I stood there staring at it. I had locked that door. I remembered it specifically. I'd checked it twice, my usual habit at 8:30 p.m. I crossed the kitchen, closed it, deadbolted it, rattled the handle, stood listening to the house. Silence. I checked every room downstairs. Nothing. Nobody. I even forced a short laugh at myself, and I went to bed. I woke at 3:14 a.m., hard and sudden, like something yanked me out of sleep by the collar. My eyes opened, and I was completely and immediately awake in a way that felt deeply wrong. At the end of the dark hallway, just visible through my open bedroom door, something was standing. A silhouette. The outline of a person standing with an unnatural, impossible stillness, just completely still, like it had been standing there for a very long time. My heart stopped. I blinked. The hallway was empty. I laid there without moving for 10 full minutes, heart hammering in my throat, every rational explanation cycling through my brain, sleep paralysis, shadows from a passing car, my mind manufacturing monsters out of darkness. Finally, I got up and went to the kitchen for water. Looked down. Muddy footprints on the kitchen floor. A full adult stride leading from the back door, still locked exactly as I'd left it, straight across the tile in a slow, unhurried line. Stopping directly in front of the basement door. We never used the basement much. Unfinished, concrete walls, bare bulbs, holiday boxes. Lucy hated it. Lily refused to go near it. She'd said once, very matter-of-factly, that it smelled like a sad person. I stood at that door with 911 half-dialed on my phone and told myself I'd find nothing and feel foolish. I opened it. Not concrete, not cold and empty the way a basement should smell. Something warm, human, lived in. The close, intimate smell of a space where someone had been spending time regularly. In my basement. I went down slowly, flashlight cutting through the dark. Old furniture, cardboard boxes, the broken treadmill we'd never thrown out. Everything normal, except that smell. Then I came around the far shelving unit and saw the gap behind it. A hidden space, 4 feet wide, 3 feet deep, invisible unless you were standing in exactly the right spot. A small alcove, carved deliberately, someone's private space, someone careful. Inside, on a low wooden shelf built into the concrete wall, a large, clear plastic storage bin, sealed, neatly organized.
I opened it. Inside, arranged in careful labeled rows, small personal items, ordinary things, the kind that disappear from busy households and get blamed on absent-mindedness. A child's pink sneaker, size 5, a flower drawn on the marker on the toe, a gold hoop earring, single, a man's leather wallet emptied completely, kept anyway, a retainer case with a name in Sharpie on the bottom, Tommy, a child's crayon drawing, house, family, yellow sun, folded soft with age. Every item had a small adhesive label, neat handwriting, a name and a year. Henderson, 2019, Porter, 2021, Morrison, 2022. 3 families, years of careful selections, things taken so quietly nobody ever noticed. They were gone.
Then I saw the front section of the bin. A row of blank labels, waiting. One already filled in. Stewart, 2024. Beside it, not yet arranged, just resting there, a small hair clip, pink, shaped like a butterfly. I knew that clip. I had watched Lucy fasten it into Lily's hair that very morning before she buckled her into the car. Lily had smiled at me through the window with that clip catching the pale October light. My daughter's hair clip, taken from her hair this morning, already labeled, already claimed. I was outside calling 911 before I remembered deciding to move. Officers arrived in 6 minutes, swept the entire house, nobody inside. They photographed everything, bagged every item, documented the hidden space and the footprints, professional and calm, but I caught the look two of them exchanged when they thought I wasn't watching. Detective Carol Sims sat with me on the porch steps around 4 a.m. and asked quietly whether I'd ever given the spare key to anyone. I started to say no. Then it landed on me like something falling from a great height. 3 years ago, moving week, the neighbor next door had walked over with a warm smile, offered to watch the house during our honeymoon the following month. Quiet, polite, completely forgettable in the best way possible. I'd handed him a key without a second thought, never asked for it back, never thought about it again in 3 years. I told Sims his name, Trevor Walker, 54 years old, right next door. What investigators pieced together over the next 48 hours rearranged something permanently inside me. Trevor Walker had owned our house 9 years earlier. He lived at 42 Briarwood Lane with his wife Linda and his 7-year-old daughter Sophie. By every account, decent man, quiet, good father. A fire broke out one November night, electrical fault. Trevor was working a night shift across town. Linda and Sophie didn't make it out. He sold the house and bought the one next door, 30 feet away, close enough to see his old front door from his kitchen window every single morning. And he never really left. 3 different families over 9 years, and Trevor had found his way back inside each time, quietly, patiently, taking small things, keeping them, building that collection in the basement like he gave him back some small piece of a life that burned away. Detective Sims told me the Porter family name carefully and watched my face as she did. I recognized it immediately. Columbus, 2021. A family reported missing with no signs of forced entry, no apparent motive, no resolution. Never found. Sims didn't say it directly. The pause after she said the name said everything. Trevor Walker wasn't just a broken, grieving man collecting hats hides for comfort. He was something else entirely. Saturday morning, Sims and 2 officers walked across the line to Trevor's front door. No answer. They entered. Empty. Not abandoned in panic. Surgically empty. Every surface wiped clean, every room spotless, like nobody had lived there in months. Except the electricity was still on. And on the kitchen counter, a fresh pot of coffee, still warm. He'd made coffee that morning. He'd known they were coming, and he'd left anyway. One thing on the counter beside the pot. A spare key on a small key ring with a handwritten label attached. For Cody, he'll want this back. I changed every lock that afternoon, installed cameras,
We were out of Briarwood Lane before November and into an apartment across town. 3rd floor, 2 deadbolts, chain lock. I told Lucy it was a fresh start. 3 weeks later, she was setting up Lily's new bedroom when she called my name. Come and see this, and I don't want to say what it is yet. I walked in. She was standing at the window, looking at the sill. A single adhesive label, clean, white, sitting on my daughter's windowsill in our new apartment on the 3rd floor across town. I picked it up and turned it over. That same neat, careful handwriting. New address, same family. I'll always find our way home. The investigation is still ongoing. Detective Sims calls every few weeks with updates. I don't know where Trevor Walker is right now. I check the locks every night, every single one, twice, sometimes 3 times. I check Lily's window every morning before she wakes up. Now smash that like button, hit subscribe for a brand new horror story every week, and share this with someone who needs to lose a little sleep tonight. Also, comment below, what was the creepy moment on this story?
I used to love old houses. The character, the history, the way they hold on to things. So when Liam and I pulled up to 14 Ellsworth Avenue in Cleveland for the first time, and I saw those original hardwood floors through the front window and that wide covered porch, I grabbed his arm and said, "That's it, that's our house." He laughed. "You haven't even been inside yet." "I don't need to," I said. "That's our house." 3 weeks later, we signed the papers. 8 months into our marriage, and it already felt like the best decision we'd ever made. I don't feel that way anymore. We moved in on a Saturday in mid-October. Liam's buddies helped with the furniture. We ate pizza on the living room floor, laughed until our stomachs hurt. A genuinely perfect night. Liam had a work trip that couldn't be moved. Chicago, 5 days. He offered to cancel, but I wouldn't hear of it. "I'm a grown woman," I told him Sunday morning while he packed. "I'll be completely fine. Go." He kissed me goodbye at 6 a.m. I watched his car disappear down Ellsworth Avenue and went inside to unpack. The first thing I found was the earring. Behind the bathroom mirror, a gold earring, delicate little thing, small oval with a pearl drop. Clearly a woman's, slightly tarnished, the kind you'd tear the whole bathroom apart looking for. "Previous owners," I said to nobody, set it on the sink, moved on. The smell started that afternoon. Upstairs hallway. Perfume. Light, floral, distinctly feminine. Here and then completely gone, like someone had just walked past me and left the scent trailing behind them. The hallway was empty. Old house, I told myself. Old smells. Relax, Ava. That night, I opened the bedroom closet with my phone flashlight and stopped cold. On the right side wall, carved directly into the drywall, deep, deliberate, not scratched lightly, carved, like someone sat in that dark closet and took their time. One word, over and over and over. Helen, Helen, Helen. Stacked and overlapping until the letters blurred into each other. I closed the closet door and called Liam immediately. "There's a name carved in the closet wall," I said, "over and over. Helen. It's a lot, Liam." Silence. Then, "Look it up tomorrow. The address probably has a boring explanation." "Yeah," I said, "probably." I locked the bedroom door and left the lamp burning all night. I didn't sleep much. Tuesday morning. Laptop. Kitchen table. I typed our address into the search bar. 14 Ellsworth Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio. Property records, old listings, and then an archived article from the Cleveland Plain Dealer that the internet surfaced like it had been waiting for me to find it. Cleveland man reports wife missing from Ellsworth Avenue home. No signs of struggle. October 14th, 2018. I set my coffee down. A man named Douglas Crane reported his wife Helen, 41, missing from this address. They'd gone to bed normally. He woke up and she was simply gone.
No note, no packed bags, her car still in the driveway, her phone still on the nightstand. Cleveland PD investigated. Douglas was questioned multiple times, no charges filed. Helen Crane was never found. Douglas sold the house 8 months later and vanished completely. No forwarding address, no public record anywhere. I sat in the house where Helen Crane disappeared 6 years ago and looked at the gold earring still sitting on my counter. Helen's earring. My hands were shaking. I called my friend Jess and told her everything. Ava, people disappear for all kinds of reasons. Jess, her car was in the driveway. Her phone was on the nightstand. Long silence. Okay, she said quietly. That's different. I kept unpacking, kept the music loud, kept telling myself that the history of a house has nothing to do with the present. What happened here was 6 years ago. The perfume came back at 4 p.m., stronger this time, full and completely unmistakable, drifting down the hallway outside the bedroom. I walked out and stood in that hallway and breathed it in, and without fully deciding to, "Helen?" I said. I still don't know why I said it. It just came out. The smell faded immediately. The hallway went completely still. Tuesday night, 11 p.m. A sound from inside the closet. Not a creak, not the house settling, a slow, deliberate sound like fingernails drawn lightly across drywall, rhythmic, patient. I sat up in bed and stared at the closet door. "Mouse," I whispered. "It's just a mouse." The sound stopped.
Then, 3 slow knocks from inside the door. I sat there without breathing for a very long time. Finally, I don't know if it was courage or pure stupidity, I got up, crossed the room, and opened the closet door. Empty. Just our clothes and that carved name on the wall. But on the floor, directly beneath Helen, something that had not been there the night before. A photograph. Old. Face down on the bare floor. I picked it up with shaking hands and turned it over. A woman, smiling the way people smile when someone they love is holding the camera. Dark hair, standing in a kitchen, this kitchen, holding a coffee mug in both hands. On the back, in small, careful handwriting, Helen, our first morning, Ellsworth Avenue, October 2015. I sat down on the floor right where I was standing and called Liam. "I need you to come home," I said. "Right now. Something is really wrong with this house." "I'm already looking at flights," he said. He didn't even sound surprised. "Pack a bag right now and go, please." I packed in 4 minutes, grabbed my keys, my phone, and Helen's photograph. I couldn't leave her on that floor, and walked out of 14 Ellsworth Avenue without looking back. Liam flew in the next morning. Through his connections, we eventually got access to details from the original investigation that never made the news. Douglas Crane had been questioned repeatedly. The original detective's report noted he was unusually composed for a man reporting his wife missing and showed inconsistencies in his account. They'd tried to get a warrant for a thorough search. Denied. Not enough evidence. We tracked down the original detective, Roy Pulaski, now retired, living in Mentor, Ohio. We drove out to see him that Thursday. He was quiet and careful with his words, in the way people are when they've spent a lifetime measuring the distance between what they know and what they can prove. He looked at Helen's photograph for a long moment without speaking. "I always believed she was still in that house," he said finally. "Douglas reported her missing until 14 hours after he claims he noticed she was gone." He looked up at us. "You don't wait 14 hours unless you already know she's not coming back." He looked me directly. "You found the photograph inside the closet door." "On the floor," I said. "It wasn't there the night before." He nodded slowly, like this confirmed something he'd been carrying for years.
There's a space behind the right wall of that closet. The room measurements never matched the house exterior dimensions. We never got far enough in the investigation to confirm it. The room went completely quiet. I thought about the knocking. 1, 2, 3. I thought about that name carved over and over in the dark of that closet. Helen, Helen, Helen. Not carved by Helen, carved for her. I won't tell you in full detail what they found when the right people finally got into that house with the proper authority. Some things are heavy enough without every word of them. What I will tell you is that Helen Crane's case is no longer listed as missing persons. Douglas Crane is no longer just a man who reported his wife gone. What I will tell you is that we never moved into 14 Ellsworth Avenue. We broke the contract and walked away from everything we loved about that house without looking back. I kept Helen's photograph. It sits in a drawer in our new apartment. Sometimes I take it out and look at her, standing in that kitchen on her first morning, holding her coffee mug, smiling like she was exactly where she was supposed to be, like she was finally home. Old houses hold on to things. I said that at the beginning, and I meant it romantically. I don't mean it that way anymore. Helen waited 6 years in those walls, knocking quietly in the dark, waiting for someone to finally listen. I'm glad she found me. I'm glad I heard her. How many houses right now are holding on to something that was never found, and the people living inside have absolutely no idea? Drop your thoughts below. What was the moment this story got under your skin?